Well, hello. Thank you guys for joining me. You are in for some strategies to help you crush your goals. I'm going to share my screen, and then after the presentation, we will have an opportunity if you have any questions. But also, I will share with you within 24 hours a link to the replay, which will also have the template. I wanted to have the template ready for you now as we started, but I made a few last minute adjustments. And so I wanted to make sure the template that I gave you, that I do give you, reflects these last minute adjustments. So I'm going to share the screen, and then we're going to jump right into the content. All right. Hopefully everyone can see the presentation. Are you able to see that?
Yep.
All right, good. Good. And so we're going to start. All right, so this is 3 time gaining strategies to crush your goals. One of the things that I realized is that as everyone, including myself, was creating the vision and the plans for this year, this quarter, for whatever it is we're doing for our businesses and the other things that we just have a desire to do. I realized the need to really have a strategy that will allow us to gain more time to crush our goals so we can avoid being in the same place next year or avoid disappointment that comes not not achieving the goals or meeting those goals or making the progress. And so I want to share with you 3 strategies that I've learned and developed and see how they will help you accomplish what you want to accomplish this year. So writing this content, we're going to only talk about those 3 things. I'm not going to try to share anything else or try to make it too deep or too complicated. We're only going to talk about 3 strategies that you can do right now so you can gain more time and so you can accurately and intentionally use that time to accomplish the things that you need to accomplish. So just a little bit about me. I started in business. I didn't like it at the time. It was a little dry, a little boring because of the environment I was in. So I shifted to education, out of a desire to want to just impact more people and, better affect more lives and see people grow and live to their full potential, experience their potential. So I did that as a classroom teacher. Then I shifted to the role of serving as a principal, turned around struggling schools. One school I turned around within half a school year, led teams of staff members from 20 members all the way up to 92, close to 100. I sit on the board of a nonprofit, and educationally, I have a degree in business. I have a degree in education, degree in educational leadership, but most importantly, I have experience in all of these areas. I've learned some stuff, I've made some mistakes, learned from them. I've had some successes and also have learned from them. And so my mission is to help small business owners and entrepreneurs move from scattered exhaustion to a place of energized focus. And that's one of the things we're going to do tonight. And so you'll see my family here. I'm married. I have a beautiful wife that I'm married to. I'm a proud dad of a daughter who's, intelligent, doing her thing, successful at a young age. And I'm the proud owner of a pit bull. You'll see over there to the right, that guy, he's well trained and sitting somewhere downstairs so he doesn't bark and disrupt the presentation. And so I show you all of this because I want you to understand that if you do not create the life you want, someone else is going to create it for you. And that someone else is going to be someone that's either a supervisor at your current job or whoever is making policy or whoever the decision makers are that affect you and your business and the things you want to do. And so if you don't create it, it will be created for you. And so the whole point is I want you to learn. I want you to have the strategies so you can create the life you want and not be subject to somebody else's decision. And remember, success does come at a price. It doesn't come cheap and it doesn't come free. But always remember that price is not your family or your personal life. Right now there's a big thing about grinding all the time and sacrificing and things like that. And so, but there is a difference between sacrificing for your family and sacrificing your family and friends. And one of the things you don't want to do is sacrifice your friends and family and your relationships in the for the need to achieve your vision. And you also don't want to sacrifice your vision in order to maintain your family and friends and your other relationships, because there is a life where you can have it all. A lot of people say you can't have it all, but you can. You can have your vision, you can live it, you can live out your vision of for your business and for your life, and you can still maintain and have healthy relationships, because that's what life is all about. And so the strategies I'm going to share with you is going to help you avoid the tug of war that happens to many of us on the inside and the outside. That tug of war of accomplishing your goals and enjoying life, thinking you can't do one without the other. You got to let one go so the other one can live. But we're going to help you avoid that so you can have both. So the first strategy I'm going to share with you is to avoid calendar chaos. Calendar chaos is when there are so many things happening on a daily basis in your life, and it puts you in a constant position of responding. Now, how many of you have had that happen where there's so much going on and you just find yourself constantly responding day after day after day after day after day, looking forward to the weekend when you can try to find some kind of relief? You can unmute and just say if that's happened to you.
Definitely.
Yeah. And it's happened to me, and I lived there. I lived in that place of calendar chaos for years, and where people just told me, it got to the point where people just said my lifestyle is just busy and that's just how I am. And I didn't want to be there, didn't want to live there, because I didn't want my life to be full of chaos and to be just one big thing after another. And so the problem of calendar chaos is that constantly responding blocks you from doing the important things that you need to do. And it blocks you from being intentional and operating with a sense of intentionality. And so the strategy to avoid calendar chaos is this: use a task list and a calendar to help schedule your important events, and it'll help you keep up with important things you have going on. And one of the best practices that I recommend is that you use the reminder function. So the important things that you need to get done for your business as well as in your personal life, you put it on a task list. And then set the reminder to remind you of when you need to do those things, and put important dates and things you want to do on a calendar, so that when other things come up, you can quickly refer to them and say, no, I'm busy, I'm not available at that time. Now that seems very simple, but it's going to play into the next strategy. So this is the very first thing. This is the foundation of using your calendar and your task list. Then the second strategy is you have to arrest the time bandit. The time bandit is the thing that steals your time. It happens, without you knowing, without you noticing. You just look up and your time is gone and you can't figure out where your day went. And it's hard to remember what you did. It's almost like it takes a couple of minutes to try to think about, man, what did I get done today? What did I do? What did I get accomplished? And that happens a lot when we have such busy lives and things are going on and the calendar chaos is going on. And then now we have this time bandit creeping in with that chaos, stealing our time. And we'll look up, a week is gone by and a project that we wanted to start or complete hasn't gone any further than when we initially said we were going to do it. And so you want to arrest the time bandit. And when you arrest the time bandit, it stops that bandit from stealing your time. And the way you do it is this: allocate your time. You have to allocate your time, which means you list all the hours in a day, which is why strategy one, when you have those tasks you have to do, now you list all the hours in a day. And so for me, I'll show you the example of what I did for myself. I listed all the hours in a day, and then I determined the times and the length of time for each activity, which means you may say, I'm gonna take an hour or 2 hours to work on this thing. And so you plug that in on your time allocation table and on your calendar so that during that time it's blocked out and you don't do anything else but what you scheduled for. You don't take any phone calls, you don't scroll social media, you don't do any of those things. You do only the thing that you have allocated to do during that time so that you can get something done. And so we all have the same hours in a day, no matter what our status is, no matter what level of business we are, what level of income we have, we all have the same hours a day. And so with this example, I started from 7 in the morning and went until almost 10 at night. And so I was deliberate to go 55 past the hour versus going to the whole hour. And I'll explain that a little later. And so if we take this skeleton of a day, some people's days start earlier, some people's days start later. But for the sake of illustration, I just use these hours here. Now, so to allocate the hours, you got to be clear on the activities that you have to accomplish, which again enforces the importance of having your task list or your to-do list. Then you're going to plug them in. And if you're a full-time entrepreneur or a business owner, meaning you're not working for someone else while you're building your business, then you should divide your time between 4 different activities. These 4 activities will be business development, sales and marketing, delivery of your product or service, and admin functions. Admin functions are like, balancing your accounts and things like that. And so if you are full time, your day should be divided between these things. And a lot of what you do needs to fall into these 4 categories. Now, there are some things that you may think is business development, or some things you may think are sales and marketing activities, but they're actually business development activities. And that's a totally different training. But I'll just give you one example. Some people think, posting on social media or building a website is sales and marketing, when not true. Building your website is business development. Anything that generates potential sales or leads people to a sale will fall into sales or marketing. So social media, depending on what you're doing on it, it could fall in the sales and marketing category. If you're engaging in conversation with your audience on social media, yes, it falls into sales and marketing. If you're creating a post for some content, that's business development, unless those series of posts lead to someone trying to call you and discuss your product. So if you work for someone else while working for yourself, that would mean some of your time is automatically already allocated due to the hours that you have to put into someone else's business. So I have an example for that too, because I was there for a couple of years while leading a school. I was building my business on the side. Unfortunately, during that time, I never created an offer, but I was releasing content and doing what I thought at the time was my version of running my business. So arrest the time bandit. Here's what it would look like. We're going to take the items from our to-do list and plug them into those different time frames so that they have an assigned time for us to work on them and to complete them. Now, sometimes you don't get to complete the action during that time allotted. And so you can make the choice to either bump something out of the way that you already have allotted, or continue it the next day, because it's okay to continue as long as you're working on it and making progress, unless you have some kind of due date for something. Then you make the decision on how to adjust. And make sure you're clear on a stopping time and honor it. Honor your stopping time that you set for the activity, but also honor the stopping time that you set for the day. Whether you work for someone else while building your business or work for yourself primarily full time, honor your stopping time. Don't allow yourself to work extra and work late all the time. Because I know I used to burn the candle at both ends. I would go early and leave late and work once I got home. And that wasn't good. That wasn't a good place to be in, physically or emotionally. And so don't make that mistake. So here's an example of what it would look like if you're a full-time business owner, where meaning that this is all you do. So, and this is my exact schedule. So I get up about 7:30, start getting ready for my day. Between 8 and 8:55, I'll work out. And then from 9 to 9:55, I like to start my day with prayer before I do any work. And then after I do that, I go from 10 to 12 doing business development activities. I'll take a 30-minute lunch break and then finish up some business development activities up until 12:55. Then at 1, I'll start my sales and marketing. And I have that divided between attracting new clients and following up with previous contacts or current clients. And then I finish it up at the end of the day, ending at 5. Now, the reason why I do 55 and not a full hour is because Brendon Burchard said in his book, Highly Productive Habits of Effective People, and I believe I'm quoting that title correctly. He said that one of the things he noticed when they did their research for his book is that the high performers consistently worked 55 minutes to every hour, that they gave their brains a break for 5 minutes in between tasks. And what that did was help them to be more productive. And, they were the richest and most productive people in the world that his book studied. And so, they must be doing something right. So I adapted that habit to help my mind, remain its sharpness throughout the day, to give those 5-minute breaks in between activities, strenuous activities. And even in school, when I was teaching, we would often do a brain break for our students. And so that concept, does work. You guys have any questions so far? If you have any questions, you can unmute and ask. Okay, so no questions. I didn't see no unmutes. So we're gonna keep moving. And so here's an example if you are working for someone else while building your business or building your vision. So I use the same hourly structure that I had in the previous example. You have to allot in the time you leave for work and the time you're working for someone else and your travel time back home. And then you have these certain hours left. You plug in a time for physical fitness because it's important. Plug in some time for yourself. And you might want to flip those depending on your personality and your style. You may want to take time for yourself before you work out, or you may want to work out, as soon as you get home, and then take time to yourself, while you're recovering from the workout. And then you plug in some family time at the end of the night. Now, during this time, you want to Plug in the time to build your business. When you look at it, it doesn't seem like there's a lot of time, which it isn't. But you can build a business working 3 to 4 hours or 10 hours a week, depending on how you schedule it. And so you see, during one of those family hours times, you could work on your business, or even that time that says yourself, that could be the time that you build your business and then you kind of rest for the day while spending time with your family. But I encourage you to at least spend an hour a day on your business if you're working with for someone else, because that is the quickest way to avoid your time being stolen from you. And years will go by and you won't have made any progress in your business. And then when you need your business the most, because they're making cuts, you need to have built it to the point where it's generating income, which I experienced. And so I'm telling you from experience what that's like. And so the third strategy and the final one of the night is you have to get rid of the day damager. The day damager is the destructive force that will try to overwhelm you with problems to mess up your day and throw you off your game. So if you don't expose, confront, and expel the day damager, it will cause time to go by without progress. You'll look up months down the road and be either in the same position or worse. And so this is very important because you could have a good day, you could be flowing, things could be going good, you're working on your stuff, and then something would try to overwhelm you to mess up your day and get you out of that creative free space that you need to be in to build your business, and just mess up all of your interactions, have caused you to have a bad attitude, and people sense and can feel that. So when you're trying to build your business in anger, frustration, desperation, it doesn't resonate with your audience. And so it would try to block you from building and establishing your business. So to get rid of the day damager, remember, we have 7 days in a week. Everybody has the same 7 days. And so you have to choose to work on certain activities on certain days. Now, for example, you can choose to have a day where you just totally focus on business development, or a day for totally working on sales and marketing. Or, when I was a principal of a school, I had a day where I did office work and paperwork so that I could spend the other 4 days in the classrooms. And that kept me from missing things in the classroom and things like that. And I would tell you, when I first began that strategy, I felt weird being in the office for a day. I felt like I wasn't working because I wasn't with the students. But I had to remember, getting these other things done was a part of my job at the time, and I needed to get it done. And so giving it a full day allowed me to have the majority of my attention on the other things. So some people do that. Some people have days for development, days for sales, days for whatever it is they're going to do. I kind of do a hybrid because I like to work on each activity every day versus having one solid day where I do an activity. But my hybrid would look like this, because I will have a day of family time. And when you are getting rid of the day damager, you have to make sure you plug in a day of rest. And I know that seems very contradictory to what people say in terms of the get up and grind, and entrepreneurs and business owners are always working. But you have to have a day of rest. You cannot physically or emotionally and mentally function where you're constantly giving out, constantly working to build, without having time to recuperate. In order to be at your best, you must have a day of rest. So, and then you want to schedule a day with a friends and family day, as I call it, where you spend time with your friends, spend times with your family, and cultivate and build those relationships. Now, I recommend, if you can, to make that a separate day than your day of rest. And here's why. You can't enjoy others when you're not at 100%. Because if you're exhausted, your interaction with them will be totally different than when you're energized. And relationships are about giving and receiving, it's a give and take. And you can't give when you're on empty. And so you want to make sure that in order to get the most out of your relationships, you're well rested yourself. You have that alone time, that me time. You take care of yourself. When you're on the airplane, they always say secure your mask first. So you give the self-care to yourself, and then you're able to properly care and nurture the relationships that you're blessed with. All right, so here's what my mind looks like. And so because I serve as an assistant pastor to a church, here's what mine looks like. Because I plug in times that I do work for the church, for the fellowship, and times that I'm serving in that capacity. So Sundays is like a work day for me because I'm there, I'm doing stuff, I'm there early, preparing for people to come have a great experience. After the encounter, I'm editing video, editing audio, that kind of thing, updating the website. And so all of that takes time. So that's like a work day. And then Mondays is kind of split where I work on things for the fellowship, but then also work on my own business. Then Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, strictly working on my business. Friday is my day of rest, which works well for me right now because my wife is still at work on Fridays. So it's easy to have just a me time. And then Saturday is my time with her where we do family stuff and connect with friends and things like that. Then it starts over. And so that's how I did my day allocation. And so, like I said, on my Monday through Thursdays, I still engage in all of the different type of activities that I need to for my business instead of setting one set day for each activity because that just works well for me. Now you can do however you feel works better for you. You just got to make sure that it feels it's comfortable for you and you can easily flow creatively. Now, one of the biggest things is when I began using these strategies, I felt confined at first. I felt restricted because while even though I'm highly organized and highly structured, I'm also extremely creative. I like to create. I like to be in a creative flow in order to create the trainings and come up with the solutions for my clients. And so at first I felt like I wasn't as creative as I wanted to be because I was locked into certain times to do certain things. And so you just have to plan your time in a way that will maximize your creativity. So, which is why in the morning from that previous slide, my business development occurs in the morning because that's the time for me when I really have my creative juices flowing after I've worked out, after I spent time in prayer. And so my creative juices is flowing. And so that's when I take the time to create. And then in the afternoon is when I do the other things. While I still try to be as creative as possible when I'm talking to people and engaging in conversation and trying to be sensitive to their needs, but I need to create when I need to create things when I'm at my peak of creativity during the day and when I can be where it won't be interrupted. So that's my example that I have. Does anybody have any questions so far with any of the strategies that I've covered? Okay. And so just to end it out, remember frustration and disappointment, they will try to come when your dreams are deferred. Hope deferred makes the heart sick. So you don't want your dreams to be on deferment. It's and that frustration can come out, when you interact with the people you care about, when you interact with potential clients, when you're trying to draw clients to you, to your business. And so that frustration can come out in those interactions and even repel people versus attract them. But the thing is, I want you to understand, I want you to have hope because you're not alone. I was there for a long time. I know many of the clients And so I help them with that. Once I figured out how to deal with it, I help my clients deal with it and escape it. And that's why I made it my mission to help as many business owners as I can move from this place of scattered exhaustion and to energized focus in leading their business. Whether you have employees or not, you're leading your business because you're the primary influencer of it, and you are influencing people, drawing people to you, getting them to listen to you, helping them realize their potential and with your product or service. And so that's why I made it my mission to help other business owners and entrepreneurs lead their teams. And I want to help you. I want to help you create the life you want and the life you deserve without things always being put off till later because a time bandit has come and stolen your time, or some force has tried to come in and destroy your day to keep you from being productive. And so you deserve to have a certain life, and I want to help you create that life and live it. And so if you feel like you need help because you're in that place, I want you to go to this link that's on your screen now, jamalmaxim.org/strategy session, and schedule an appointment, because in 15 to 20 minutes, we'll take the time and I will help you get clarity on and help you determine next steps to get out of that place of scattered exhaustion, to get out of that place of your time being stolen, so you can crush your goals this year. And my heart is to help you. And so if I can't help you, I'll refer you to, or try to refer you to, someone who can. And so we'll find out that one thing that's blocking your business, blocking you from growing, and we'll attack it and address it and help you move on. So you can click that link and you can schedule time with me and we'll have a conversation, because every business is different. And so I want the opportunity to hear your specific challenges so that I can try to offer you the best solution possible for your situation. I don't do cookie cutter or prepackaged. Everything is unique and tailored to meet your needs. And that's it. I want to thank you guys for joining me. And if you have any questions or need to reach out to me, you have my contact information. This recording will be made available within 24 hours, and along with the template, so that you can begin working on these things and crushing your goals.